Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Talk to Georgian live chat. My name is Jenny Thompson. I am the social media specialist here at Georgian College. And today we are talking all about holiday food. We're getting excited. It's almost the end of the fall semester. We're going to be getting into our winter holiday break. We know that the winter holidays might be different this year, but doesn't mean they have to be any less delicious. So we're really excited to chat more with our guests today about that. So in just a minute, we are going to be bringing in Phil Leach, who is professor and coordinator of culinary programs here at Georgian College. So you might be wondering, what are some easy festive appetizers to make, or side dishes, or what if I don't eat meat? What are some tasty options for holiday meals? Or, lots of people make turkey or brisket or all kinds of meat. How do you make it so it's still moist and not overcooked? And the ultimate question, holiday question, is eggnog actually any good? So please post your comments and your questions below, and we'll do our best to get through as many as we can today. So now during our live chats, we often get a lot of questions about different international issues or international student issues. We do want to support you, but today we are focused just on holiday food and tips and recipes and advice and that sort of thing. So I want to quickly put up a couple contacts for you international students. So if you need any assistance with housing, or if you have any quarantine questions, anything like that, you're going to want to contact INTL Housing at GeorgianCollege.ca. As well, if you have any other questions about any other topics, from what's life like as an international student here at Georgian, or insurance, or visas, or permits, traveling, immigration, all that stuff, you can always reach out to our international team at international@GeorgianCollege.ca. I will mention as well that they are on Instagram. So if you go to IC Georgian, like the letters IC Georgian, that's where you're going to find our international team. So they host weekly live chats, 3 times a week, and feel free to connect with them there, to bring your questions to them directly there as well. Those are Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so that's great. So they post lots of information there, lots of updates there as well. So definitely give them a follow. As well, before we jump into some other questions with Phil, to talk about all those good things about holiday food and everything, I wanted to show you a few places to find some really important information on our website. So if you head to GeorgianCollege.ca, this is our website here. And we've got tons of info on here. You can take a browse around. You can see our COVID-19 updates page. You can get a career quiz, all that good stuff. If you scroll down, you're going to find some amazing news, like our newest announcement today. Georgian partners with International Language Academy of Canada. For our international students, or for anyone who's interested in coming to Georgian, that's going to be a really great thing to check out here. And what that means, we will be connected with this school, which is one of the most awarded language schools in the world, with its downtown Toronto campus. So for sure, check that out, Georgian at ILAC. But the main thing I wanted to bring your attention to is this bright orange bar across the top. This is where we're going to put some really important links that you're going to want to check out. So the first one is our Winter 2021 program delivery information. So if you click on that, it'll take you to this page. You can see it's all broken down here. There's updates from us for international students. There's more information about our learning guarantee. But if you go down to the program search tool, this is where you're going to find a really handy chart. And this is broken down by program code. And you can even see by location, year, semester, etc. So you can actually go to this tab up here and type in your program. And so for winter 2021 students, it's going to tell you exactly if your classes are remote or if they have in-person components. So that's a really useful tool for our students heading into winter 2021. As well, you can check out what to expect on campus. So if you do have in-person classes, you can click on this link here. So this site right now is geared to fall, but it's very similar information, which we will keep updated. So there's lots of info here, really handy breakdown for everything from what you need to know before you get on campus to who's allowed on campus, what's open and closed, what about parking or specific entrances we have to come in, all that stuff. There's also additional information, our reporting dashboard for COVID-19 and more information for international students. So there's tons and tons of information. There is information on our online training module. So if you are coming to our campuses, you do have to complete this online training module before you arrive, and that's done in Blackboard. So you can check that out there. As well, our Safe at Georgian app. It has a COVID-19 screening assessment. So that's really handful to get onto our campuses quickly. You do that, it's about 30 seconds, and then you won't have to wait in any lines when you get into campus. And then the last link here is COVID-19 update page. It is exactly what it sounds like. Here's our COVID-19 information and updates. So this is where you're going to find some really key dates for right now for the fall and winter semester. As well, over here you can see it's broken down even more by different semester, by different categories. And so that's where you're going to find a lot of commonly asked questions that we have answered. So you can take a look through there. Chances are we've answered your question. As well, you'll notice here we have information for international students. So for any international students who are watching, you can click on that. And that's going to take you to this page, which has even more information about COVID-19 updates and what you need to know about being an international student here at Georgian. So we've got updates from us, updates from the government of Canada, and everything you could want to know, frequently asked questions all about everything from housing to upcoming semesters, fees, immigration, and everything in between. Great, so you can check that out. Awesome. And again, as I mentioned, if you do have any follow-up questions about international student issues, you can email international@GeorgianCollege.ca. Great. So now I've done my long spiel, and now we're going to be bringing in our guest, Phil Leach. He is the professor and coordinator of culinary programs at Georgian College. He's going to come on to tell us all about holiday food, holiday cooking and baking, all that good stuff. Oh, I see a website. Hey, Phil. Want to flip that?
Hey.
Can you flip your camera around?
Yes, hopefully I can. Usually I can just flick the screen and that works, but
we're just seeing your email, so I don't know if you've got anything to put aside. There, we can focus on your lunch there. That's good. At the bottom of your screen, there should be a little, like a couple little arrows in a circle. You want to? There you go. There we go. We got it.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
I am so excited to talk with you. This is going to be a fun chat. So the winter holidays are coming up. As I mentioned, the fall term is ending on Friday, December 18th. So, for you personally, what are some foods that you like to enjoy over the holidays?
Well, I love my traditional roast or my turkey, anything like that. But I do love the little snacks and things that are around, the shrimps and the cream cheese, and also the mincemeat tarts, and a lot of those little kind of nibblers, I call them, big cheese platters, things like that.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and we usually do this either before dinner, or it could even be like a late night snack, something after dinner while we're kind of winding down, is the baked brie. And you can do that so many different ways. You could just kind of wrap a whole brie with phyllo pastry. It could be done that way and then served with a whole bunch of different things. It could be like some apple butter, some cranberry sauce, all of these lovely things. So those are the things that I really look forward to during the holiday season.
Yeah. And so I guess sort of going off that brie, which sounds delicious. So the danger of holding these live chats at lunchtime, I guess. Um, we're all hungry. So what are a few easy recipes or ideas that our students could try at home this season?
Yeah, so really quite simply, the brie is really you just need to get yourself a store-bought brie. There's so many different varieties you can get. And then a pack of phyllo pastry. You could either use butter or an olive oil and brush each layer. You know, you need about 6 layers brushed down with butter or olive oil, and then simply you just wrap the brie up with that phyllo pastry, and then in a hot oven at about 375 degrees, you would bake that just until it becomes golden brown. Once that comes out, you want to wait maybe a minute or two just for it to cool slightly, and then you're really ready to dig in. And you can serve this with basically any of your own condiments. It could be a pickle, it could be, you know, some sort of sweet sauce. It could be a marmalade type thing. So um, anything goes really when you're doing these things, and the beauty of it is you can pair it with so many different beverages, and enjoy it. And it's a family thing. It's something that goes to the middle of the table. You've got all different people, brothers, sisters, friends, whoever that is, all kind of digging in and laughing and sharing and telling stories around the table. So it's a little bit less formal than sitting down and eating, because after dinner or before dinner, usually at dinner time, it's so good that we're focused on eating, and there's less chatter going on. But this is more of a less formal thing where it can be done and spread out through, you know, a longer period of time and just enjoyed with company.
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah.
And so people will celebrate, you know, in a lot of different ways. We have students from all over the world, really, too, in all different backgrounds. But many typically do have a big meal with sort of a meat as the centerpiece.
Mhm.
And if you don't eat meat, we are going to talk about veggie options in a minute, too. But whether that's turkey or brisket or jerk chicken, or there's lots of options. What are some tips that you would have for people about making sure that the meat is still juicy but not overcooked?
Yeah. So with the turkey, it's really quite a simple process. Getting the turkey in at a higher temperature at the beginning to get that cooking process started is pretty much key. And I would usually use 425 as a starting point there. And after about a half an hour to 45 minutes, I usually turn that oven down. Some of that fat will start rendering out of the bird. And I turn that down for that slow and low finishing of the turkey. And this is when I do start basting. I know we mentioned basting. Is it important or is it not important? Turkey is a very lean meat. So rendering some of that fat that can come out, and you can baste it. And I do that, you know, every about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll go in and I'll baste the turkey throughout the rest of the cooking period, which could be between 2 hours to 3 hours, based on the size of turkey. Now, the other important thing that I always like to mention is the carryover in internal temperature when you're actually cooking the turkey and when you should take it out of the oven. Temperature probing is key to doing that, but also the consideration with the carryover in temperature once you take this large bird out of the oven. that large bird will come out of the oven. It's going to carry over 10 degrees. So typically you want to bring that turkey for the end process to about 165. So I would actually remove it from the oven at 155 and allow that temperature to carry over naturally while covered with some aluminum foil or just even putting a lid if you can fit it onto your roasting pan.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Great.
then you would let it rest for at least an hour. So all those juices would settle inside and then once you start slicing, you don't lose anything in that process.
Mhm. Perfect. I guess with basting and things too, like if you're doing other meats that aren't turkey, would you recommend basting with anything else, or sorry, I mean with any other kinds of meat?
Yeah, so some do. I mean, some do require that, but things like brisket, some of those heavy meats and things like that, it really is that slow and low process. And whether you're doing a sear at the beginning or just simply seasoning with your favorite seasonings, your spices, um, putting it in the oven at a lower temperature, and carrying it over for a longer period of time is going to get you a tender product in the end.
Yeah. Yum. So, and as I mentioned, like we want to talk about some veggie options too, because not everyone there eats meat. So, what about our vegetarian or vegan students out there? What would be some main course options that you might suggest for them over the holidays?
Yeah, so I'm not like the absolute pro in these categories, and I'm sure there's a lot of different vegan and vegetarian recipes out there. But I tend to always look at those general flavors that you want to introduce, the holiday flavors. Um, we're really big on sage and allspice and these different flavors. So typically, I always go back to tradition. So, you know, the things that we can do. And then I start thinking about substitutions. Um, you can take a simple recipe and then just basically substitute with different products. Whether it could be even you know your bought you know substitute meat product, those types of things. But in certain cases, like my idea was to do a simple, you know, bread stuffing, those stuffings that you can bake in a pan. And then I always thought, and sometimes I just use this as like a side dish, but I use a navy bean and I kind of make like a cassoulet type thing. I know traditionally sometimes a cassoulet would include things like bacon and chicken stock and things like that, but I think you can accomplish the same sort of thing just by using vegetable stock and some really flavorful vegetables in kind of a cassoulet type thing.
Mm.
So basically, you would simmer that. I would bake my stuffing, which would be heavily spiced with that sage and those real holiday spices that it could be up to you what you want to put in there. And then basically take that nice cassoulet, which is like a bean stew. You can put whatever vegetables you want in there. You can spice that up if you want as well. And I usually put that on top. And then to top that off, that cranberry or that apple chutney or that uh, something that sour, that fruit, that so the mixture of the savory, the richness of the cassoulet, and then the sweetness of uh, of whatever compote. For me personally, it would be a cranberry because that's where I see those holiday flavors going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So we've got our meat, we've got our veggies. There's lots in between there. We need something to wash it all down with. So let's jump to a potentially controversial question here and the great holiday drink debate. Do you like eggnog?
Absolutely. In small quantities. It can be great. I know here we have a lot of local dairies, some local products that are showcased at our grocery stores, at our Loblaws and things like that. So getting some of these products is great, and you might find a slight difference in the quality from a local dairy compared to your, your carton of milk that you see just randomly in the grocery store. But lovely sweet drink. That would be a drink that I would be having with all those nibblies. It's something that you would sip. It's not something that you drink quickly. And yeah, well, mixing it with a little bit of rum kind of helps as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not for everybody, but it does lift the holiday spirit a little bit.
That's true. And so what are some drinks you would suggest for our students to try over the holidays, whether they like eggnog or not?
Eggnog is always a great holiday drink. But in turns, I always go back to the nature of the simple hot chocolate. Um, living in Canada, everything is so cold. Having that hot drink, and especially later on at night, a little bit less caffeine, but throwing those marshmallows into the hot chocolate and sipping it away. That's kind of one of my favorites when coming down to like the end of the night, um, ready for, to sit down and kind of unwind after a busy, experience with friends and family, thing like that. To have that sweet hot chocolate drink in it, and it doesn't have to be overly sweet. You can use, just your simple cocoa and add in the amount of sugar that you want, or even those marshmallows and even maybe a topping of some whipped cream if you wanted to go that far. So um, those are some of the the lovely things, and I'm always relating it to being here in Canada, and what are we going to do in Canada when we're up to our waists in snow, and we just want to feel comfortable, maybe sitting down under a blanket because that, or in front of the fireplace. Why not break out that hot chocolate?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally. And so what about baking now too? Because we love a good dessert. I think most people love a good dessert, especially over the holidays. What are some easy recipes or ideas that our students could try out over their holiday breaks?
Well, yeah, there's a few different ideas, and I always, thinking about those personal things. And the mincemeat tarts are one of most people's favorites. It actually wasn't mine. All my brothers loved the mincemeat tarts, and I was like, that's gross. Um, but quite simply, like thinking about the vegan thing, if you're making your pastry with shortening, a vegetable fat, a minced meat, although it says meat in the name, it's actually made out of dried fruits and raisins, things like that. And it's combined with all these spices that really give it the name, like give it that unique kind of flavor. And I know maybe a lot of people haven't tried that. It's typically not a Canadian thing. I think it's more of a maybe an English thing. But it's quite an interesting dessert, and it would be good for a vegan if you use the vegetable shortening in that. The other thing that always brings back, and I always kind of think back to when the things that caught my eye when I was growing up, is the dessert cake, the fruit cake. Now,
Oh, yeah.
it's not for everyone.
That I think that might be the bigger debate rather than do you like eggnog? Do you like fruitcake?
Yeah. But quite interesting as an activity. Now, my mom used to do this, and I wasn't a big fan of it, but I loved the process. So she would do this fruit cake, and underneath the fruit cake, she would wrap up coins with tinfoil, and it was scattered all under this fruit cake,
Oh yeah.
which was quite interesting, but it made you want a bigger slice because each slice came with coins underneath. So you were, but the most interesting part, other than that, and I loved, when I got a couple quarters or something from the underneath of my fruit cake, even though I left half of it to the side because I didn't like it. Um, was that, and I remember this as a kid growing up, that what they did with the fruitcake, or what my mom did, was she poured brandy all over the fruitcake and then lit it on fire. And she
Okay.
brought it to the table with this fruitcake that's basically in flames, and it eventually went out. There's no alcohol left after it burns out, so I was allowed to eat it. But that was a quite interesting. It was almost like the exciting part was to see this fruit cake coming out on fire.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not sure
totally.
everybody wants to try that, but
Yeah, and
it
if you
was.
do, keep a fire extinguisher handy just in case.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up here today, I want to ask you, as a professor and coordinator of Georgian's culinary programs, do our students get to do, make festive things in our kitchens? Like what kinds of things would they learn around this time of year?
They do. So we have in culinary, we have our bake class, and at around this time they have to do their basic final lab, and what they do is it's called a U-log. Now this is just really a chocolate kind of sponge cake that they make, and it has like a coffee kind of cream in the middle with caramel bits. So there's crunchy bits in there. And then they basically design this Yule log to look like a piece of wood. So they put chocolate icing over it. It usually has a little branch coming out of the side. And then they decorate it with different things, and it could be ornamental things that you would put on it. But typically, they make meringues and different things with meringues, and they always relate to wood and then mushrooms. So they make little meringue mushrooms that they scatter around the base of the wood. Um, and all of our students do make one of those in their class as kind of like a final cake that they're making in their bakery class. And it is quite traditional and festive, to
Mhm.
say the least, as their final thing. And a lot of the times we make a lot of these cakes, and then we do donate them as well to some of the shelters around in Barrie and surrounding areas.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I think
Mhm.
and our bake program is actually on Instagram. So if anybody is interested, I'm sure there's photos of the Yule logs on there, or possibly some coming up, but it's bake_program. So easy enough. Let's go check it
Yeah.
out. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Phil. This was awesome. We're all starving now. We all have to finish this live chat and go eat something. But thank you so much for your time and your wonderful advice for us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thanks everybody for coming out to the session.
Yeah. Thanks. Take care.
Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Phil, for joining us, and thank you so much to all of you for joining us. I did want to quickly show before we head out, if you want to learn more about Georgian's culinary programs, like I mentioned, you can go to bake_program on our Instagram account, or sorry, on Instagram, to find our bake programs Instagram account. So you can learn more there, but you can also head to our website, and we've got tons of information there. If you're interested in anything related to culinary or hospitality, it's actually under hospitality, tourism, and recreation. I'll just show you where to find more information about our programs. So if you go to GeorgianCollege.ca, and actually under the tab at the top under the academics, and by academic area, you scroll down to hospitality, tourism, and recreation right here. It'll take you to this page. There's one of our professors there. And you can see all of our programs. So if you scroll down, you can see broken down by, by year, type of program. And you can see all the different offerings that we have there. You can click on all of them. So baking and pastry arts, for instance, you can click on there and check out what the program's all about. Awesome. So thank you so much again to everybody for taking the time to join us today, for engaging with us. It's so nice to see everybody out today and to engage with you. So if you want to go over any of Phil's amazing tips on how to keep that turkey moist, or how to make your fruitcake extra special, we are going to be posting this live chat to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts following this live chat this afternoon. So for sure, head there, share it with your friends and family, and have some fun this holiday, baking and cooking in the kitchen. We are going to be back next week with another Instagram live chat. This one is going to be really fun, so please join us. It's going to be on Thursday, December the 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a special holiday season kickoff. So we are going to be having some live music, some really fun holiday decor tips, that sort of thing. So it's going to be really, really fun, real crafty and musical. So please join us for that. And then in the meantime, make sure to share this live chat with your family, your friends, cook up some food and tag us in your photos on Instagram at Georgian College. And stay safe and take care, everybody. And we'll catch you next week. Bye for now.